Mantis is an amazing healer in Marvel Rivals, possibly one of the best healers and buffers if you know how to use her. Today, we're going to be going over how you should play Mantis, where you should be coming at it from, and how you can take your Mantis to the next level. Before we get into it, we've got to go over the abilities and some of the basics of Mantis. So first things first, before we go into abilities, when it comes to Mantis, Mantis has these leaves just right under sort of where you'd be aiming. Those represent her abilities and when she can use those abilities. They charge up over time or they charge up with critical hits on your enemy. This is paramount because what this means is with Mantis's main attack, that would be that life energy blast, Mantis can do damage to enemies, and if she hits those shots right, recharge herself at the same time. This is one of the key components to this character. Also, with the shots, it's good to note once you get some good aim with this, once you can predict where the enemy's going and you realize it takes a little bit longer for her attacks to reach the enemy. It's not like a laser beam, it's more of like a flower floating out there. But when they do hit, they do a bit of damage, and there isn't any damage drop off, which means Mantis can actually be played at a good bit of range, which is amazing for a healer because you shouldn't be on the front lines healing. You should be back behind, watching people's butts and keeping them from dying. So let's get into healing and everything like that. So first off, Mantis has an attack or a heal called Healing Flower. This would be your right click if you're playing on the PC. Healing Flower heals your allies. It heals them for 55 HP, and then it does another 65, I believe it is, over time. It's going to be over 8 seconds. So what that means is you get that initial big boost, that 55 heal, and then for the next 8 seconds, your teammates get a bit of a passive heal, or your teammate gets a bit of a passive heal. That 8 seconds is important because these healing powers, they do not stack. So you can heal boom, boom, boom on your teammate, do like 220 health right off the bat, but that 8-second charge, it doesn't stack. So the 8 seconds is just from whenever that last heal was placed on your enemy. This works the same for buffs, and when you inspire yourself, that's important to note. So ideally, the way you're playing Mantis is you heal one teammate if they're down, move on to the next, and you try and keep it every 8 seconds spaced out. If a teammate's about to die and you really need to, don't stop yourself from healing them twice. You do want to try and save your team, but pay attention to it. If you don't need to heal a teammate, just don't give them that extra boost and trust your passive to do the work for you. The same goes for your buff. So there's one attack or buff called Allied Inspiration. What this does is this buffs your allies. It gives them an extra damage boost. I think it's about 12%. The reason this is important, it lasts for 8 seconds. So what you want to do with this is if your teammate calls out that they're going to ult, this is when you really want to pay attention and give them that damage boost. If you go with a DPS, you can do a ton of damage on them. Another thing that's really important is if you see someone going in to make a play, this is when you want to try and do that heal and that buff, especially for that first person going in. If you can, the ideal way to do it, you heal your tanks as they're going in, you buff your DPS as they're going in, and then you watch. If a tank starts getting plays or they're going to pop off an ult, give them that buff. And if a DPS player starts taking some attacks, give them that heal. That's how you want to play it. That's how I always play it, and that seems to work best. In addition to this, you also have natural anger. So the way this works is this gives you a buff, which is nice, but you shouldn't. Mantis is not an attack character. At range, you can ping some enemies, you can do a little bit of damage. If they're running away, you might be able to get that KO, but you shouldn't be placing yourself in a situation where you're attacking your enemy and you're the main attacker. So you should never be using natural anger on yourself if you can help it. You should be buffing the enemies around you, or you should be buffing the allies around you, because they're the ones that should be doing the damage. Additionally, one other nice attack that Mantis has is Spore Slumber. It basically throws an orb. Where that orb pops off, the enemy nearest to that orb will be put to sleep. This sleep lasts for, I think it's 3.5 seconds, which is an insanely long time. But one thing to note here with Spore Slumber, when the enemy's sedated, an attack will wake them up. However, if you're real quick with it, you can throw your spore, shoot your main attack, that life energy blast, without waking the enemy up. So throw the spore, hit that attack, you do your damage, and then you run off. Or you let your teammates do the damage. You let them take them out. You shouldn't be using this to just, like, in the middle of an attack, you shouldn't be using this, dropping this slumber. You should be using the slumber for one of two reasons. You're trying to escape and you need to put someone chasing you to sleep. So DPS player, or maybe a tank, if you're not that great, or if your teams are not that great, got in behind you. They're coming in the back door, and you want to close that thing down. With the plug out, instead, just drop a slumber, and what's gonna happen is enemy's gonna fall asleep, you can run away, and you're good to go. In addition, another way you can use this is teammate comes into attack, like a DPS player comes into attack an enemy, say Spider-Man, drops in real quick to attack with Spider-Man, boom, 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 and then gets out of there. You can use Spore Slumber to stop Spider-Man or a quick DPS player from making that run. They drop down, they're asleep, they're sort of their whole process is thrown off, and at this point, your enemies can all jump on them and get that kill, which is really nice. Now, let's go over the passives for Mantis because these are important. So Mantis receives a movement boost when not injured. That boost was nerfed a bit with season 1, so it's not as important. Also made Mantis a little bit less of a good character to play, but still a really good character to play in my opinion. And you also heal over time when consuming life orbs. So life orbs would that be those leaves in the center of the screen. And what this means is anytime you're buffing or healing, you are healing yourself, which is really nice because what that means is if you're going in with an ally, you can start healing that ally and helping them out. Next up, we're going to go over team up abilities. Then we're going to go over the soul resurgence. That's the alt. That's a really important one. So with team up abilities, Nature's Soul, Adam Warlock enhances the rebirth power of Mantis, granting them the power of Cocooned Revival. So this is a pretty cool one. It's not super powerful with Mantis, in my opinion. I'm gonna go over why. But what this means is Mantis, when Mantis dies, goes into a cocoon and then can respawn anywhere on the map. So if you're a Star Lord and you get this power, it's really nice because you can sort of go and you can respawn behind an enemy, which is cool. With Mantis, however, you can't really you can back off and respawn, but Mantis isn't a high DPS player, so being able to spawn in behind enemies or being able to spawn anywhere on the map isn't that important. You can get back into the game faster, which is always nice, but it's not as overpowered as the Star Lord's ability to do the same thing. Now, let's go over the thing that is overpowered, and that would be Soul Resurgence. This is Mantis's bread and butter. So what happens is Mantis will release energy, and for this ult, it's going to provide healing over time and a movement boost for surrounding allies. In addition, excess health converts to bonus health. So you can heal everybody around you, and if they're all full health, you're just giving them bonus health, which is awesome because it basically supercharges your team. This ult, it lasts 8 seconds. I'm not sure if you're seeing the theme here, but it lasts 8 seconds, which is a really, really decent ult when you think about it. It really gives you enough time to change the momentum of the game, change the momentum of the match. This is an important ult to use in conjunction with your team's ults and your damage buffs. So you should be calling it out on the mic saying, hey, my ult is ready. I'm ready to go. Is anyone going in with me? You should be going. And when I say that, you're asking, is anyone going in with you just to get your team to say yes? You're not going to go in solo with this thing. It buffs all your team. It gets them the kills. So what you want to do is you want to be popping this thing off when your team's in a tough situation. If you need to get those extra seconds, if a point's about to be captured and you know you just need a little bit of oomph, 8 seconds, that's going to do it. That's when you use it. Use it for those big pushes, those big moments, because this is going to change the way the game goes. You use this ult with your teammates' ults, they're getting that movement boost, that extra health. You can drop a buff on them if you know they're going to ult. You time everything up nicely. This is a game changer. This is a playmaker. This is one of those things that gets you aces again and again. And by you, I mean your teammates. With Mantis, this is what you want to pay attention to with Mantis. You want to pay attention to Mantis's deaths and assists. Kills are nice. Don't really care about that. If Mantis is getting a ton of kills, either your enemy team sucks, your team really sucks, or you're really awesome. And if any of those things are happening, Mantis probably isn't the character you really should be playing, if we're being honest. Mantis should be getting assists because doing buffs, healing your teammates, and Mantis should not be dying because Mantis shouldn't be playing forward. If Mantis is dying, either you're playing too far forward and you're getting caught up in attacks, or the enemy team is getting really good at getting behind you. And either way, you gotta take that into account and play different. Mantis is a really good character. You can angle yourself. It's all about angles. It's all about sort of hiding around corners and being able to heal your team. And then when the enemy team backs off, doing damage at a distance. If you get those headshots, it is nice. The really good Mantis players, they're gonna be able to run around, pop in and out of cover, throw those life energy blasts, get their headshots recharge faster, and do way more healing for their team. So aim is really important with Mantis. You don't have to be one of those players if you're not playing if you're not above platinum, you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about dodging, weaving, getting headshots. Just keep your team healed. Keep the keep the tanks healed. Keep the DPS players buffed. And when you need to, switch it up, right? If the tank's going in for play and you don't have any DPS players around, give them a buff. The DPS player is about to die, make sure you heal them. That's how Mantis works. That's how you should be playing Mantis. And that's how you're going to succeed with Mantis. Mantis overall is a pretty easy character to play. You've just got to know, you got to know who to heal, when to heal them, and really you're playing from behind, so you should be making a lot of the callouts. With Mantis, you should have a really good eye on the battlefield. Mantis is not a super mobile character. You're not flying up all over the place like a Star-Lord or Spider-Man. But what you are doing is you're in the back, you have a better view of the battlefield. You should be able to see when people are coming around. You should be making those call outs saying, hey, we got a Star-Lord up above. We got Spider-Man coming in from behind. Venom's on my rear somehow. Let's take him out. Make those calls. Get those slumbers, get those buffs, and get those heals in, and you can be playing Mantis just fine. The end result, though, with Mantis is it relies on your team being good. If your team's not good, if they're not going in together, if they're not listening to your callouts, if they're not grouping up when you use your ult, you can't always succeed with Mantis, and that's a reality that you have to face. Mantis is not a character that you carry with. Mantis is a character that you empower your team with, and that's the most important takeaway. But if you've got a good team, it should all be fine. If you don't have a good team, remember, you got the next match coming. And if you're stuck in bronze, you're stuck in gold, you're stuck wherever, remember, there's only one person that you play with every single match. And that's the person that you need to worry about improving. And you can do that by watching these videos, hitting subscribe, and checking out checking out all these YouTube videos. There's a ton of information out here. It's not just me creating it. So support all the Marvel Rivals creators. Thank you for watching. Until next time, peace.